away from the rest of the American League East. Talking with fireballing Mark Langston.
I've never been in a pennant race, but this is something that even in the backyard playing wiffle ball, I was always imagining myself in a pennant race.
Hey, and we get the punchline from major leaguers who are full of comic relief. Let us entertain you folks with a personal touch. Coming up next on This Week in Baseball. Sponsored by Life's Been a Dream for the Orioles, whose hero this day was Mickey Weston, just up from the minors.
High fly ball, left center field. Here comes Devereaux. That's the ball game. The Orioles take 3 out of 4 from the defending American League champion Oakland A's.
Now that was great. Superlative. Indeed spectacular on the high scale.
With a hero a day, the Major's youngest team has won 6 straight of late and opened up a sizable first-place lead. Giddy though they may be at their unexpected success, the Orioles have kept the picture in perspective, just as the boss advised.
Well, number one, when we started spring training, I tried to tell them and told them that we wanted to focus in on just one game at a time. When we started the season, I didn't want to worry about that we have 162 games to play. I wanted them to think about opening day, going out playing that game just like it was the 7th game of the World Series. Then the next day we'd come out and play the next game and the next game. Don't worry about where we are in the standings. Don't worry about how many games we have to play. Just come to play each day and put the effort in that it will take to win a ball game that day.
The main thing that's brought the Orioles their great success is defense. In their first 68 games, just 30 errors, fewest of any team. With fielding like that, they could break the Twins' record of 84 errors set last year.
Bouncer over Weston's head. Here comes Bill Ripken. A great play. Got him! I'm seeing his defense day in, day out, over and over, and they still make plays I don't believe.
It just goes to show players with great determination, a proper attitude, and the desire to succeed and not giving up. And that's pretty much the makeup of our ball club. The character of the club right now are players who take the field with tremendous determination, play all out, and the results have been very positive.
So positive, in fact, the Orioles have become the biggest story in the majors, surpassing most everyone's expectations. Of course, they know as well as anyone how fleeting success can be.
Right now, it's fun. You know, we're in first place right now, but that can all change in a hurry. It's a matter of keeping the highs and lows at an even kill, you know. But right now, we're just taking one game at a time, and we're having a blast.
Now to Cleveland and the Indians' Greg Swindell, who's also having a blast. With 5 straight wins, he upped his record to 9-1 and lowered his ERA to 2.47. Sweet numbers for the lefty power pitcher whose fastball is not all there is.
I like a little bit of everything. I'm a control-type pitcher, and at times I could be a power pitcher, and at times when I don't feel I have my best stuff, I feel I can be a finesse pitcher and get people out with my control. If you throw strikes, you're going to win ball games, and that's the main thing that our pitching staff tries to do is throw strikes and let the other 9 guys behind us, get people out.
Last year, Swindell was getting people out easily. He jumped out to a 10-4 start, but slumped after the All-Star break. Having had so much success up to that point, he now had to face something altogether new.
Greg Swindell only spent like 10 days in the minor leagues, and obviously in college and high school, Greg Swindell never struggled a day in his life. So when he hit a low spot last year, he was trying to make adjustments against major league people. Greg did exactly what young pitchers do. He reared back and tried to blow the major league hitters away the way that he would in high school or college, and major league hitters hit the fastball. And once he realized that it didn't work that way, and he got back to pitching, using his changeup and his curve and his slider to set up the fastball, then he became one of the better pitchers in the American League again.
Though Swindell's second-half record didn't reach 500, he did carve out a respectable 18-14 and was probably all the wiser for having gone through that slump.
I knew I just had to stay strong because I knew once that I got to the major league level that you are going to get beat around. You can't win every game. You got to go out and try your best, and if you don't win, you just have to go out next time and try a little harder. And I think you find out what kind of pitcher and what kind of person you are when you go through an adversity like that. Is if you come out on top, then you're a stronger person than you think you are, and that's what I did. I stayed strong through it, had a lot of help from my teammates and my family, and we made it through okay.
As they say, fans, 1 is the loneliest number. But not so for the Giants. They've been happily alone in first place with 5 straight wins. Best numbers come from the blockbuster duo of Kevin Mitchell and Will Clark. Together, 35 homers, 117 RBIs. Of course, they wouldn't be so productive without able table setter Robbie Thompson.
Young will not catch up to it. It bounces high off the wall. Young cannot hold it. It gets away from him. Butler scores, and there's another triple for Thompson and a 1-0 Giant lead.
So for the Giants, they start out as advertised.
Brett Butler offers quite the advertisement for a leadoff hitter, an average above 300 and 15 bunt singles.
Well, this is what a leadoff hitter has to do. He has to be able to get on base where the guys like the Will Clarks and the Kevin Mitchells and the Molinanos can drive him in, and this is what he does.
With Thompson and Butler getting on base early and often, the Giants are leading the league in just about every offensive department. League-leading numbers, too, for Rick Russell, who became the major's first 12-game winner. And while all may be well in the rotation, things are better than ever in the bullpen since the arrival of ace reliever Steve Bedrosian. In his first outing against the Astros, Bedrock was on the beam.
Butler into left center, and he has it. Bedrosian has done what the Giants got him to do.
And now, let's get to this week's quiz, brought to you by today's Chevy truck. At 24 years and 7 months, Dwight Gooden is the 3rd youngest pitcher to reach 100 wins. Who was the youngest pitcher to do it?
We were anxious to start winning. We felt like we weren't playing to our potential. We felt like the team that we had, we were going to be able to win it, but I think now with Juan in the lineup, we're going to be even more improved, and, he's going to give us a better chance to win it.
Talking about the Mets' brand new leadoff hitter, Juan Samuel, former spark plug of the Philadelphia Phillies, who comes with the proper credentials to pump up the Mets' sagging lineup.
He can get on base by way of a base hit or a walk. He's going to be on second base with a stolen base. Get him over. We could be up 1 run after the first inning. So he is that impact player. He is that player that would really drive opposing pitchers batty, because when he's on base, things happen.
With Samuel on base, all the better for hard-hitting Howard Johnson. Man, he's really been on fire, carrying the Mets with a team-leading 19 homers and 43 RBIs, and an average above 270. That's the payoff for learning to hit the breaking pitch.
I'd look for the breaking ball in certain situations, depending on the pitcher, what I feel his best pitch is. And I've learned to hit it, really. That's the thing. I think the key to hitting off speed is not trying to do too much with it, just make good contact. And that's probably the biggest reason why my home runs have jumped, because I've decided to lay back and just try and hit the ball hard.
Despite becoming a 30 home run, 30 stolen base man 2 years ago, Hojo has struggled to maintain consistency. But from all indications this season, that's all in the past.
This year, things have really come together, and I can't expect everybody to really take me for real, because I came up in '82 and I was platooned and I had a lot of shortcomings, but I think I've kind of fought through that and learned and gotten better, and it's just a matter of time.
No doubt Davy Johnson is happier still about the pitching of Dwight Gooden. In reaching 100 wins, Doc has gone 9-2. Still the ace of the staff, the key to keeping the straying Mets in the pennant race. From one pitching ace to another, here is Mark Langston. He's wrapped up months of speculation as to what team he'd be traded to. One of the game's most prized pitchers, Langston, ended up with the Expos. But not before his former team, the Mariners, made a final offer to extend Langston's one-year contract and keep him in Seattle, an offer whose timing was hard to believe.
I'm charting the game, and it's in the fourth inning. The phone's ringing in the clubhouse, and I was looking around to see if anybody was going to answer the phone, and nobody answered, so I got up and answered, and it was Chuck Armstrong, the president of the Mariners. He started to try to talk about the economics of a contract, and I said, Chuck, A, I pay a guy to do my contracts for me, and B, I'm charting in the middle of the game, and the next night I'm pitching. I said, this is not the time to go over a contract. And I ended up being on the phone the rest of the game, and when it got to a certain point, they made an offer, we made a counter offer. We basically kind of hung up the phone, and after the game I was gone. I was traded.
Gone from Seattle was their star pitcher, who'd come up in 1984, and despite the team's failures, had fashioned 3 winning seasons. Langston also won 3 strikeout titles, the first as a rookie.
Here he is into the wind, and the 2-2 pitch on the way, and the breaking ball, swing and a miss, and he's got it! He has the American League Strikeout Championship. Mark Langston and Dwight Gooden become the first rookies in Major League history to lead their respective leagues in strikeouts. Would you believe it? My, oh my!
The 3 strikeout titles in Seattle are something that I'll never forget, and those are something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. Still, the uneasiness of losing in Seattle and battling to get out of last place has always left a bitter taste in my mouth, and it's always something I wanted to be part of it when it turned around, but if I'm not part of it, I still hope that it turns around there in Seattle.
Once Langston left the small confines of the Kingdome, it didn't take long to discover the wide-open spaces of the National League ballparks.
The day that I had the shutout in St. Louis, Pedro Guerrero was the 3rd hitter, and he hit a ball that I thought was going to be way out of there. And Otis Nixon just kept running, and finally made the catch. So I knew right then and there that this is a ballpark that you can definitely throw it right in there, and it's going to take definitely a big-grown man with a big-grown bat to hit it just about as good as you can hit to get it out of there.
Now in the league of the hitting pitcher, Langston was thrilled to get his first hit.
Despite going hit a triple, and Buck Rogers told me to go up and just swing and try to hit it.
The pitch coming on to Langston, line drive, base hit. He gets his first Major League hit, a single into center field. It is 9-1.
My wife, Michelle, said that was the happiest time she's ever had in the game of baseball. She said it was so exciting to see me get a hit. I immediately called some of my friends in Seattle on the Mariners, and did you see that? Did you see that? So it was pretty fun.
A free agent at season's end, Langston may not stay in Montreal, but for right now, he's glad for the change of address.
I feel like I'm in a situation now that I want to be in. I want to be in a pennant race, and in Seattle, I don't feel that that's the situation there. I don't believe that they're going to be in a pennant race this year or maybe in a couple of years. I feel that now is the time with the Montreal Expos. I feel that this ball club, again, I think that they'll be in it throughout the whole summer, and expect us to be on top at the end of the year.
And now, fans, let's open the notebook for This Week in Baseball's Twib Notes from around the majors. Dennis Cook beat the Reds for his 3rd career win and just the Giants' 3rd complete game. But so much for making a good impression. Next day, Cook was dealt to the Phillies, a fate that sent the rookie from first place to last. Tracy Jones was traded from the Giants to the Tigers. And for openers,
here's Jones, first time up, and it's gone. Well, Tracy Jones, who made the trip here through the night, comes up with the homer. That's a nice way to start things off with your new club.
This latest trade puts Jones on his 4th team in 11 months. Now the answer to this week's quiz, brought to you by today's Chevy truck. Bob Feller was the youngest pitcher in modern history to have 100 wins. He was 4 months away from his 23rd birthday. Well, trick is to get out of a sticky situation before another one arises. Oh, boy. I see my advice is too little and too late. Hey, what's shaking here? April showers in June? Candid camera revisited? Hey, forget about that. Better start worrying about all this slippage. You fellas are losing ground. Running into an old chum? Hey, this is not the time or place for reunions. In fact, you fellas might think about reuniting ball with glove. Now for the fans' favorite ballpark pastime, trying to get a foul ball. Some fans will go to extreme measures. You know, I get a kick out of how resourceful they can be. And never let a thing like cotton candy stand in the way of getting a souvenir. Now for treasures great and small at the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum, which is home to the precious artifacts that bring 150 years of lore and legend to life. In spite of a recently added wing, the museum doesn't have enough room to display all of its treasures, a vast collection that includes everything from personal mementos to Hollywood props. If you've ever wondered about these buried treasures, here's a private tour.
Hello, my name is Peter Clark, and I'm the registrar here at the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Welcome to the storage area. This is where artifacts not presently on display are stored for future fans to see. Let's take a look over here at our clothing rack. One of the more recent acquisitions we have is Lindsey Nelson's sport coat. As you may know, Lindsey was very fond of wearing loud, bright colors, and this certainly lives up to his reputation.
The Hall of Fame will receive one of the Lindsey Nelson working jackets, and as a matter of fact, it's this jacket.
This is Sandy Koufax's uniform. In fact, this was the retired uniform shirt presented to him in ceremonies in Los Angeles, and he in turn donated this to the Hall of Fame for our collection. Some of the Hall of Fame's most prized possessions are their old uniforms. On this rack, we have stored new and old uniforms and tried to preserve them by boxing them up and keeping them away from light. This is a 1907 Boston Red Sox pitcher's jacket worn by Jesse Tannehill. We've had it preserved by a textile center, and we're keeping it away from light and airborne pollutants. The Hall of Fame has many shoes in its collections, amongst them this pair that was worn by Kinagasa, a Japanese player who broke Lou Gehrig's consecutive game record back in 1987. We have a lot of serious artifacts in our collection, but we also have some on the lighter side. This is a pistol, which was presented to Carl Yastrzemski by Gene Autry. And here we have Ty Cobb's Shriner's Fez. Something a little unusual is this machete, which was the property of Ban Johnson, the founder of the American League. And I'm saving the biggest and best surprise for last. The Baseball Hall of Fame has hundreds of bats in its collections. Probably one of the most unusual bats is this oversized Babe Ruth model, which is 42 inches long and 58 ounces. Babe used it one time in an exhibition game. As you can see, it compares quite favorably with Willie Mays' bat in size. Keeping track of these items is all in today's work. Thanks for visiting. Hope you'll come and see it.
That we will. It's an invitation hard to turn down. Now, our Player of the Week, brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Fernando Valenzuela has come back from hard times that began last year when he was sidelined for the first time in his career. Snapping an 8-game losing streak dating back to last June, Valenzuela has won 3 consecutive games to make the pitching-rich Dodgers just a little bit richer. Next week, fans, we're going to talk with Willie Randolph, now leading hitter on the Dodgers, one-star second baseman of the New York Yankees. That's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.
The Tigers swing into action against the Mariners. Don't miss the action live from Seattle tonight starting at 10. And who will the Pistons draft? Can the Tigers turn it around? What's the latest on the Wings and the Lions? The answers are on Sports Final Edition, hosted by Scott Wally, coming your way tomorrow night at 11:30. Now be sure to go for more sports excitement as the LA Dodgers take on the Cincinnati Reds, swinging your way next on NBC Major League Baseball, only on Channel 4.